Chris McDaniel won the Republican primary in Mississippi, but they have a rule there that you have to get over 50% of the vote. So the Washington establishment and the U.S. Chamber of Crony Capitalism and every lobbyist you can think of is pouring an enormous amount of money in the campaign in Mississippi on behalf of Thad Cochran, so he can run commercials day in and day out, lying about his record and lying about Chris McDaniel. Chris McDaniel, on the other hand, is raising money the old-fashioned way with small contributions from the grassroots and people like you. And he is a constitutional conservative. He wants to try and reverse course. Thad Cochran is a liberal Republican who not only goes along with the Republican leadership, but he goes along with the Democrat leadership most of the time. Chris McDaniel, how are you, sir?
Hi, Mark. Thanks for having me. It's always an honor.
Well, it's a great pleasure, and, I'm hoping, as are millions of us all over the country and in Mississippi, that you'll do well there. I know you're working very, very hard, but I'm right about this. You're up against the Mississippi Republican establishment. You're up against the federal Republican establishment. You're up against the big money guys in Washington, D.C. Is this not true?
It is. It is. They formed a little club that you're very familiar with, and they use that club to basically alienate and criticize conservatives. And every time we try to reclaim our position as a party of principle, as a party of courage and conviction, they shout us down, they outspend us, they ridicule us, they make fun of us. But you know what, Mark? There's nothing in the world can change when the people are ready for change. And our people are excited, they're enthusiastic, and there's nothing the D.C. establishment can do to change them. We beat him 2 Tuesdays ago, and we're going to beat him again on June the 24th.
That is next Tuesday. That's the primary in Mississippi, next Tuesday. So it's crucial. All of you, all over the country, you know people in Mississippi, email them, text them, make a call, whatever you need to do. In Mississippi, same thing. This is a turnout, bottom-up, grassroots operation. And how does that look for you?
I'm sorry, Mark, say that again?
The grassroots effort you have going, how does that look?
Oh, it's incredible. It's so inspiring to see the people awake again and reclaiming their country. You know, Mississippians intuitively are very, very conservative people, and they understand the country's heading the wrong direction. And all of a sudden, you see hundreds and hundreds of volunteers doing all sorts of wonderful things for the campaign, and they have literally changed the landscape down here. They're awake, they're enthusiastic, and our crowds are growing daily, and that's how we're going to beat him. We've just got the grassroots energized. We've spent our entire campaign with the people, around the people, listening, discussing the issues, and it's worked. The grassroots is the way to win these races, no question about that.
Now, Chris McDaniel, Haley Barbour, is attacking conservatives even nationally, going on, and he's a big lobbyist now. Let's just face it. He makes a lot of money off of what's going on in Washington, but he wants to control this seat. He's got Thad Cochran pretty much where he wants him, and he wants to own that seat. But the point is, I think the American people have had enough, and I just want the whole nation to know. You sense that in Mississippi. I mean, because you beat him the first time. I don't care how thin the margin was. He lost. And you're going to have to go through this again.
We are, and the thing is, this is not Haley Barbour's seat. This is not Washington, D.C. and the insiders. It's not their seat. It's not the lobbyist seat. This seat belongs to the people of the state of Mississippi, and that's why we're going to win this race. They see through this. They understand what's been happening. Senator Cochran's been there 42 years. He's done it his way, and he's been a very, very liberal vote for 42 years, funding Obamacare, Medicaid-funded abortions, the debt ceiling increases. You name it, Senator Cochran has cast the bad vote. Once the people of Mississippi saw that, once they realized just how far to the left he had gone, they knew then that it was time for change, and that's what we're seeing down here.
Two questions. Number one, has he agreed to debate you yet? And number two, this business where his campaign and Thad Cochran, among others, are trying to get Democrats to vote in the Republican runoff. A very fine former lawyer with the Civil Rights Division of the Justice Department, J. Christian Adams, says that violates Mississippi law. It
does. In regards to your first question, no, he will not debate. Mark, he can't defend his record. It's a 42-year record of liberalism. He hasn't led a single charge against Barack Obama. He hasn't raised his voice a single time in defense of the Constitution or for conservative values. He cannot defend it, nor does he have a vision for the people of Mississippi. In regard to your second question, yes, Senator Cochran and his group, they have an orchestrated campaign now where they've reached out to the Democrats. They're begging for liberal Democrats to save his seat on June the 24th. And the people of our state have to make a decision whether they want the party of Reagan and a conservative in that position or liberal Democrats controlling the party by exerting influence over a Republican primary. I never thought I would see that in Mississippi, but that's what happens when politicians grow desperate. And Senator Cochran right now is openly seeking Democratic votes to save his seat.
Which violates Mississippi law, but there's apparently really no way to enforce it because you can't read people's minds.
Well, circumstantially, there may be ways. You know, there's 1,000 different ways lawyers can prove intent, naturally, and it is a violation of the statute. What the statute basically says is that if you vote in the primary, you have to have the intention to support that candidate in the general. And what was interesting, one of the guys they interviewed the other day, one of the operatives for the Democratic Party that the Cochran Super PAC hired, he said on the paper, he said, look, I'm going to work for Cochran now, but I'm going to be against him in the general. That is direct evidence of a violation of the statute. Mm-hmm. And so there are ways to prove it. It's just a matter of pushing the message out there. Right now, it's really simple for us. If we get conservatives to the polls, if we get our people there next Tuesday, it's not going to matter. Turnout is the key, and that's what we're pushing right now.
Turnout is the key. The other side, the Cochran side, does it look like they have much of a turnout operation? I bet they have something going there.
Well, they've pumped an awful lot of their money here recently into a ground game, but it probably was a bit late. They went negative about 4 months on TV prior to the primary, and they attempted just to bury us with a negative ad. It didn't work because what they were stating with the ads just simply was untrue, and the people saw through it, and they researched the issues, and they determined that what they were hearing was wrong. So we win the first fight, the popular vote, and now they've attempted to generate some groundswell or some ground support, but it's not going to resonate. The people of this state are conservative, and they know Senator Cochran has not been a conservative, and that's all they need to know. This country's broken. We're on the edge of a disaster, fiscally speaking. We have to have adults enter the room and be responsible for a change. Mississippians are ready to make that sacrifice to do the right thing for the sake of this republic and for our children. That's the moral thing to do. It's the right thing to do, and that's why they're responding to our campaign.
Chris McDaniel, as an example, the southern border is out of control. We have absolute anarchy there. We have countries sending their people across the border, a president who's not doing a damn thing about it. Is Thad Cochran leading the fight to get something done and get some maybe National Guardsmen, something down there to secure that border?
Well, no one in this state can name a single fight he's ever led, unless it was a fight to spend more money. But to answer your question, no, absolutely not. I have signed a pledge that I will never support amnesty. I have signed a pledge that I will enforce the laws as written. Senator Cochran has not and will not sign that pledge, and that's the very reason the Chamber of Commerce is down here spending so much money. They know he's a vote for amnesty. Haley Barbour knows he's a vote for amnesty, and that's why this race is so important to them. I am not going to support their amnesty programs. I'm not going to support their lawlessness. It's just not going to happen, and that's one reason they're fighting us.
And amnesty, more than anything else, harms working people. It harms blue-collar people who are having trouble keeping their jobs and finding their jobs. I hope that message is resonating in Mississippi.
Well, I think so. Mississippians need jobs. In our state, we've suffered from an opportunity crisis for a long time. We need better jobs. We need a better environment so jobs can flourish. Right now, the state of Alabama, which is right next to us naturally, their unemployment rate is 2 points lower than ours. And the only distinction is they've got Jeff Sessions as a senator, and we've got Thad Cochran. We need to create the right environment for economic growth. You can't do that with amnesty and proposals where we basically ignore the rule of law. Now's the time to enforce the laws and to make sure that Americans and American jobs are protected.
In many ways, Thad Cochran has ceased being a Mississippian, hasn't he? He's really a Washingtonian.
I think that's a fair assessment. He's very seldom home. I've got people my age and older that have never physically laid eyes on him in Mississippi, and he has insulated himself with the Washington establishment, surrounded himself with that power, basically that political aristocracy they've created up there for themselves, and it's time that he come home. These guys in Washington, these men and women, they work for us, and they forget that when they're elected. And as our employees, we should demand that they come home and be responsive to our will, answer our questions, hold town halls, be around us. Senator Cochran hasn't done that, and that's one of the reasons people are so upset. We need a senator that's going to be responsive and one that will fight for Mississippi's values, which is constitutional conservatism.
42 years, I've come to the conclusion, is enough for anybody in Washington, but it's certainly enough for somebody who doesn't really take a stand that is even articulated in a way that we can understand. The man votes. He doesn't explain himself. The man has contributed to the problems we have in this country, and yet he says, send me back. I mean, enough is enough.
Well, if he hasn't fixed Mississippi's problems in 42 years, what makes us think he's going to be able to do it the next 6? He's had 42 years.
Well, and let me say this. If he won't debate you, how the hell is he going to debate Barack Obama and his policies?
Well, that's just it, Mark. He's not. If he's not going to debate me, a state senator from Jones County, Mississippi, what makes us think he's going to debate the Democrats or Barack Obama? And the answer is he hasn't. He hasn't debated Democrats. He hasn't debated Barack Obama. His silence in this context is complicity. The conservative movement cannot afford silence from the most conservative state in the republic. Mississippi should be leading these charges, not reacting to people leading the charges.
Well, if people want to help you all over the country and in Mississippi, where do they go?
McDaniel2014.com. McDaniel2014.com. Come see us. We'd love to have you in Mississippi. We're a wonderful state. Come visit us. We'll put you to work. And if not, if you want to just come send a donation, we'd love that as well. So we would welcome your help down here.
All right, Chris McDaniel, you would be a terrific senator for Mississippi and a terrific voice for the whole of the nation. I hope people are listening and will get strongly behind you as they did in the primary. This is a huge fight, and God bless you and good luck.
Yes, sir, Mark. Thank you very much.
All right, you take care. Sarah Palin has endorsed him. My buddy Sean Hannity endorsed him a couple of weeks ago as well. There's a whole lot of conservatives who are very excited about this man in this race and the opportunity it provides. And Washington is in panic, absolute panic mode, particularly Mitch McConnell. Mitch McConnell believes he has a cakewalk to the re-election in Kentucky. He's busy getting involved in the Mississippi Senate race. And he feels if he's elected, he needs Thad Cochran's yes vote. And Haley Barbour feels that Thad Cochran is his man in the Senate with his lobbyist pals, and if he loses Thad Cochran, he loses some control, and he may lose some clients. So this is all very sleazy. There's a lot of cronyism and incestual activity going on here. It's really time to break this up, Mississippi, and we need your help.